Tracy said the University of Miami. That's Miami of Ohio. You all understand that. Somebody asked me today, what was your favorite movie? Hoosiers or Rudy? I said, that's kind of an appropriate question for today. I went with Hoosiers because I thought that was, I mean, you know, you get a drunk that can make a decision late, you gotta like the movie. It is an exciting time for Tracy and I to still be playing baseball. And I remember competing against University of Indiana 5-6 years ago, and I really saw a lot. That was a program that you could see was really, really on the rise. And what he has accomplished this year is unbelievable. I mean, we have beaten Florida in Gainesville once this decade, I believe. That was last year. Well, it was this year, the last time we've done it. We don't have a lot of success in that ballpark, and you go in there, probably hadn't been outside once and beat them 2 out of 3, and I know what this program from Indiana has done, and I know that this is setting up to be a very exciting weekend. We're just both very, very proud and happy to still be playing. But I look at our ball club, and there's so much that, as a Seminole, makes me proud, and that's the ability that this club has shown to bounce back after what we went through in the ACC tournament, and then to come back and play as well as we did last weekend makes all of us proud. But we're playing a team that has played a very tough schedule, that is not the least bit concerned with where they play or who they play. And we know that we are going to have to really play extremely well. This is, I've heard people say things about the Big Ten when it comes to baseball. Well, I can tell you right now, this bunch knows exactly what they're doing. We play Minnesota a lot. In fact, we're playing John next year, and we know when they come in here, it's going to be a very, very interesting series. Somebody asked me if I had any indoor drills, and I said no. I really don't. I don't know how you can coach indoors. I'm going to find out though when we get this new football facility. Let me over here. I can't fathom how you can get as much done as you do indoors. And it's a credit to you, because it's amazing how, number one, it's amazing how you get a guy from Tampa to come up here. Number two, it's amazing how you can get so much done, and you don't get outside probably until the middle of March, and later than that.
Until we play.
That's phenomenal. I tip my hat to you. Any questions? Beautiful.
Coach, you talked a lot about, you being generally impressed by the program, but what specifically impresses you about this team? What stands out when you look at this lineup and the pitching staff?
Schedule that they played, the success that they enjoyed, having watched a few games that they've played on television, the tapes that we have. That's a good-looking lineup. It ain't 1 through 5, it's 1 through 9. And the pitching has been excellent. I mean, up and down. It's a solid baseball team.
What, just as far as your team's concerned, obviously you lose the last 4 going into the tournament, and obviously breezed right through the regional. Just how good do you feel about the way your guys are playing right now? Do you feel like you guys turned it around from the way the season ended?
Well, certainly we didn't play badly against the teams that we played. We played pretty darn good. We just got whipped. Last weekend, things just happened to go our way. We played very well and took advantage of some opportunities. So it was a credit to them to not let the losses that they encountered the week before affect their thinking. That makes all of us proud as coaches when you can just throw it away and go to the next game.
Levin, isn't it an advantage that some of your guys have been here before? Does that help going into a Super
For
Bowl?
me to sit here and say it doesn't matter is a fat lie. Yeah, it matters. It's what any coach that is in this final 16, you want to have guys that have been there before. And yes, we do feel comfortable with guys that have played in super regionals in the series last year. And we have a number of guys that have done that. Both, all three starting pitchers are guys that have pitched in the College World Series. I wish that would give us a bigger advantage.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Just how much has Lou progressed this year? I mean, numbers-wise, you can tell a huge difference, but just what's made him better? What's, brought him along, I guess?
I think that the wins that he had against the University of Florida really gave him a boost. He used to be more of a nitpicker. Now he's confident with his stuff, and he's not trying to guide the ball. He's just getting out there and using his stuff, and he's certainly been very impressive in the last few weeks. But you have to be very effective to beat a team like Indiana. You've got to be able to throw the ball where it needs to be thrown to be successful.
Well, there's a good chance guys will be, with the draft going on over the weekend, guys will be taken while they're playing. And do you talk to them about how to handle it, or they just know because of previous years how to handle these situations?
I have talked to our guys for the last 34 years, and it don't do any good. They ain't gonna listen. It's a dream that they've had since they were 7 years old when they started playing. Tracy's got a 5th rounder, and that just, we were watching it upstairs. It's a part of a young man's life that he never forgets. And we will have on both sides guys sitting there wondering if they're going to be taken, or if they've already been taken. Why was I taken so low? It's just one of those situations that you have come to accept, live with. Is there a problem to hold this thing a week later? Man, but it's not going to change. It definitely can have an effect. 1986, I ain't going to ask you how old you were in 86. Richie Lewis and Mike Lowen were drafted not where they wanted to. Lowen's sitting there in Omaha. I can't believe I went to 7th round. Such and such went in the 5th and 6th. He can't get me out. And I'm just going, you got to be kidding me. And it affected him. No question it affected him. But that's life. It's a good question, a good point.
Where was Richie Lewis from?
Muncie.
Oh.
And do I ever have some stories? I tell you one thing, I never had a better competitor. Thanks.
Yeah, real quick, I mean, you talked about their staff as well. What impresses you about each of their guys, and what do you think about facing a lefty like the NATO to start?
I think Tracy said it best when he's talking about a guy that's a great competitor, been in the rotation for 2.5 years, not going to be the least bit intimidated. So you know you've got to do everything right to be successful. He's got a guy that he's very comfortable with, the team is very comfortable with, and it's setting up to be a very good baseball game.